I was working on my next book. Actually, it's not the next book, it's the next book after the next book because I'm procrastinating on the next book. And I'm late on that one. But anyway, I'm working on the next book, and it's about the Feast of Trumpets. And I was doing research yesterday for it, looking things up in the Hebrew and the Greek, and I realized the shofar, the ram's horn shofar that everybody uses today for feasts and such is not actually the biblical trumpet that is supposed to be used for celebrations, any of the celebrations. Um, it was basically the shofar. Shofar is basically the sound that it makes. It's a quivering sound, is the way I understand it in the Hebrew. Uh, I forgot what the actual word for the ram's horn is, but the ram's horn is basically used in battle. Um, the Battle of Jericho is the one where it's really mentioned. But for the feasts and for all celebrations, for the new moon, for the feast, for all the celebrations, it is supposed to be a hammered silver trumpet. Hammered silver. You wouldn't take that into battle because silver's soft and it would bend while you were in battle. You can whack people with it. You can whack people with ram's horn, um, because they're pretty, especially once those guys have done all the treatment to them that they do, stretch them out and everything. They're pretty hard. Um, but a hammered silver, like solid silver, would not be. Now, King Tut's tomb, there were two metal horns in their trumpets in there, and one was copper with a gold, uh, covered in gold, and the other, I was trying, the different sources were saying different things, but the other one was silver. There were some places that were saying that it was wood and it was covered in silver, it was silver plated, but then some sources were saying that it was like solid silver. So I don't know, but anyway, King Tut's tomb, and supposedly I'm taking this with a grain of salt because Egyptologists uh like to fantasize. We'll just put it that way. But supposedly the gold trumpet, copper trumpet with gold, would have been, I can't remember what it said, but they believed that these musical instruments were magic, which music is frequency, and frequency does things that we can't always see, right? So it is, frequency would be magic. So anyway, yeah, they so the gold one had a particular meaning, but the silver one, they specifically said, was for resurrection, and it was in his tomb so that it could be blown to make sure that he raised into the underworld like he was supposed to. Anyway, very interesting, um because, you know King Tut very well might have been uh the the firstborn, that during the Exodus, the firstborn. Maybe not, but he might have been the firstborn of Pharaoh. So, which would make sense because his I think the story, and somebody can correct me if you know it. I think the story is that his dad died in a flood, or or was taken by the river god or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, the trumpets were interesting. So we do not own a ram's horn shofar. And I was thinking about purchasing this year for it, and they've got some little plastic ones at Amazon that I thought would be fun for the children. But then after doing that research and realizing, I'm like, well, no, that's really not biblical. Uh, the Now, if you want to blow the ram's horn shofar for battle, which is interesting, that's what the Vikings did as well, and I actually like the Viking ones better. So I and there's some, I hate to say speculation, but some research going around, both in secular circles and in Bible believing circles, that the Vikings were parts of the tribes. So that would make sense that the Vikings would have like a war horn as well, right? That would be like exactly the same as the small shofars, basically. Very, very interesting. So anyway, if you're, doing battle, then the ram's horn makes sense. But if you're bringing in the new month, the new moon, or celebrating the feast, or whatever, then you actually need a metal. I was unable to find any silver at all. Um, there's nickel, there's different ones. So I was looking, the closest thing that I could find was a marine foghorn. So I'm going to get a marine foghorn. That is the closest thing that I could find. They're only about like 7 inches for the ones that you blow yourself. Um, but they're not very expensive on Amazon, and I'm like, I can do that. And then for the children, I ordered, I can't remember, it's an African name that I'd probably butcher anyway, but they use them for like school ball games and things. These plastic ones that look similar to probably what it was. So anyway, the girl that's doing the art for the cover of my book, I had to contact her and say, oh my goodness, we need to change the cover. And so she's going to be working on that, and I'm going to be doing some more research after I have more coffee and in between grandchild entertaining me today. So anyway, I just thought y'all might be interested in this little tidbit of information. We need to be commissioning, I guess, some silver trumpets that are more biblical. And I'm really wondering what the sound is. I'm really wondering what they sound like.